Central Time, Tuesday evening time for Live Toy Tuesday. Going to check out a couple of signs tonight. If you guys remember here, oh shoot, it's probably been a month or 2 months ago already. I had some buddies here in town that had a bar and grill that they bought a couple years ago, and they decorated the entire building with stuff out of my collection. Signs, pedal cars, oil cans, things like that. So they had an opportunity to sell that building a couple months ago, so we went and got all my stuff out of it. And like I told you, we're going to be starting to work some of that stuff in because it's been over there for the last year and a half or so, and we haven't seen any of this stuff yet. So Daniel, I got a tough choice. What to talk about is watch live stream video or watch Alex shows. I don't know what Alex show is, so but we'll check out these few signs tonight. Like I said before, there were about 30 signs in that building that were mine. About a dozen pedal cars, boxes of oil cans. So lots of cool stuff that we've never spent any time with on here on Toy Tuesday. So I grabbed a few of them tonight, and we'll check them out. Start looking a few things over. So like I said, I just got a few of them out tonight because there's so many different ones. I've got soda pop signs, automotive signs, gas and oil signs. So kind of trying to work a mix and things like that in that, see what all we can do. Bill's here. Peter from Oz made it. Daniel's on with us. Glad you guys are all here. As we get ready to take a look at a few signs. So, as always, questions, comments, throw them up there. We'll sure try to catch them. I always miss a few. They get to scrolling sometimes pretty quick, but that happens. So, Rusty Nails made it. Glad you're here. So, I got a few of these signs drug out tonight. We'll check them out and see what you guys think of them. Kenny's here. Kim's here. Great crowd jumping on with us already for a Tuesday evening. Glad you guys took a few minutes out of your day to make it. So, what we've got tonight, we've got a standard ISO V sign. Joe's here, Lee's here, BW's here. So, a lot of normal, familiar faces. Glad you guys made it. Daniel, have any dealership books that show all the models out here? Yeah, I've got a lot of dealership selling. I call them selling manuals, dealer albums. I've got a lot of those. Big Job made it tonight. Glad you're here. So, anyway, and speaking of memorabilia, be sure to get your chances in if you want to be in on the mini mag raffle for Sunday night. Roger's here. We're giving away the collection of mini magazines Sunday night. Right now, it's between Big Job and Lee. That's all that's in. So we're giving away the main prize plus an extra magazine for the second place winner. So if you haven't got in on that, be sure to get that in as well. So Daniel, 01 Lincoln pickup truck. Yeah, that's the Blackwood. Jess brought that up the other night, actually, the Lincoln Blackwood in the early 2000s. So anyway, we got an ISO V from Standard Oil Company to check out tonight, a Mobile Oil, plus a super cool Hires Root Beer sign. So, let's, shop cats here, let's head over there and start checking these things out. As you can tell, we're in the new shop tonight, so lots of cool things in here. So, we'll kind of keep working some of this stuff in. And we'll go ahead and flip things around. We're sitting here by the train. I don't know if you guys have seen the video on the train, but you might want to go check that one out. I did a video just on the train here. Gosh, it's probably been over a year when I got it, but it is a super cool piece. So anyway, let's head over and check out these signs right over here. These are the three that I drug out tonight. I've got these things just stacked in the back corner of the shop. So I grabbed a handful of them tonight to check out. To give you guys an idea, we'll give you some measurements on them real quick. The car behind the train is a 58 Pontiac. Bill, might have missed the train. What gauge is it? These are about 5 feet tall. I think it's a G gauge, but it's custom built. But I had a guy tell me it was G, I believe. But it's big for a G. It's a very big G gauge. We can take a quick glimpse at it when we get done. 5 foot by 16. The Mobile also about 5 foot by just under 16, and the Hire's a little under 5 foot, and it's about the same width. So, yeah, all 58 Pontiacs were V8s, Daniel. Shopcast says, look, it's Lionel size. It's a beast. We can take a quick look at it after we get done with these, but we'll start off here with the ISO V. Like I said, about 5 foot tall. Where are the cars in the shop? No, everything in this shop is my stuff. So, but the ISO V, this has some chips. It is an original single-sided porcelain, Standard Oil Company, top quality ISO VD motor oil. I've got another one right up over there. We need to get some of those signs down as well, the standard ISO V over there. But this is a a vertical, top quality ISO-V standard oil. The mobile, this one actually is painted. It's got a little bit of chipping to it. I actually got this one at Meekum several years ago. We can see where some of the white's chipped out of it. But, it definitely still presents well. And, it shows a little bit of its age. It is wooden framed. We can look at the back of the ISO-V. See, it's an all-metal porcelain sign. The mobile, the Trans Am is a 78, Martinique Blue 78. The mobile is painted tin on a wooden frame. We can take a look at the back of it, kind of see where this old wood was tacked together with just little strips and nails. These things weren't fancy, they weren't heavy duty, and that's why they didn't last. We can look at this thing, you can see all the holes and the scratches in the frame as this thing was hung and taken down and hung and taken down over the years. But both nice pieces. The higher sign is really an amazing piece. This is Newell stock. If you look clear at the bottom, there is some imperfections clear at the very bottom of this sign. Now, the reason I know this is Newell stock was about 30 years ago. My dad bought a couple of Buicks out of a place, and he found an entire bundle of these. I think there was 25 of them in a bundle, still had paper stacked between them, but they were sitting in a lean-to. So the bottom of them was on dirt. Now, he sold most of them off over the years, but he kept 3 of the best ones, one for him, one for me, one for my sister. So it's, these were not stored very well. So they're not perfect. There's a few other blemishes in them, because they sat in that lean-to with paper on, stacked between them for years. You can see a little bit of discoloration in a few spots. But it is Newell stock. It was never hung. We can take a look at the back of this one. Once again, it's got a little bit of weathering just because it wasn't completely exposed to the elements, but it wasn't completely in a sealed up, dry environment either. But obviously still has amazing color. You look at the graphics on this and the detail on it to make it look like there's root beer in there, and it still looks, absolutely amazing. We can see the mounting holes, aren't even chipped up. So, beautiful piece. Of course, he sold them at the time and thought they were, got decent money out of them, which was, probably absolutely nothing compared to what they're worth today. But at the time, Doug says that's about as perfect as he's seen. And it's not perfect, but it's pretty nice. So that was a heck of a find. Of course, today in today's sign world, it would be an amazing find. But at the time, it was cool, but nothing compared to what it would be like today. But those are just a handful that I grabbed tonight to check out, to see, like I said, I've got a ton of them back there. Just trying to figure out a good way to set them up where we can look at them, talk about them, check them out. And like I said, there's over 20 more back there that we haven't even seen, haven't even talked about yet, that came out of my buddy's bar. So, as far as owning a bunch of cars that, I'm a dealer, so I can own as many cars as I want. And and a lot of my cars are tagged as well. So, I can run D-tags on the stuff that's in the dealership, but I actually have a lot of my own vehicles are actually tagged. So, I can own pretty much whatever I want. But there again, there's a cool mixture of some stuff. We'll kind of keep working those in as we go. We're going to start doing some videos on some of the cars. Some of these cars I actually have videos on. There is a video on the 58 Pontiac. And so we'll be sure. So you might want to go check that out. As I get time, I'm going to start getting these things out and actually doing videos on it. A lot of you guys have asked for videos on some of these other cars, so I need to start working some of them in. So Doug says definitely want to see more signs. So we've got a lot of signs in here that we haven't even looked at yet, not counting the stacks in the back that I've got. That entire corner up there, I don't think we've pulled any of those signs down at all. So we got a lot of signs, probably too many signs, but I do like them. They do tell a story. You just think of these three pieces right here, and you think of the area or the era of where these came from, and with the stories they could tell. Let's see. Handsome Metal says has trouble identifying fake signs, and that does take some practice. Absolutely, definitely takes practice to identify fake signs. It is tough. Daniel from Kingman, Arizona is here. I just missed one of Kim's comments. Kim loves the show, but can't take the spamming. Well, I'm glad you made it for a while, Kim. But the fake signs situation has gotten ridiculous. Basically, I basically don't buy a sign unless I'm putting my hands on it. Peter, great signs. Funny how times change the feelings toward old items that were once not valued at all. And that's exactly right. I found a lot of these signs that have been cut up. If you guys were on the live the other day and you saw the 48 to 52 Ford F1 pickup box that was turned into a trailer, and you'll see the mobile signs were cut up to make the floor in it. Doug, and of course, want to see more vehicles in the yard, so love all the collection. Great, thanks, appreciate that. But the fake sign situation has gotten ridiculous. They're pumping them in like crazy. eBay is full of them. Literally, every single one of these signs, and in fact, all the signs that you see, all the signs in this building, all the signs that we've looked at on Toy Tuesday, I put my hands on them before I pay for them. I touch them, I feel them, I hold them, I look at them, I study them, and make sure I'm comfortable with them. And there is a knack to it, I guess you could say, or not necessarily knack, but just some experience with it. That I mean, and I'm not saying I've never been burned. I can't think of anything big I've been burned on. There's a couple things I've questioned, but there is so much of that stuff out there, and that's a perfect example right there. The White Eagles. There's tons and tons of those fake White Eagles out there. They're hard to find originals. It's hard to find an unchipped original. That is an unchipped original. You see them for sale all the time, but they're reproductions. They've cast those things out of aluminum. They've made them out of concrete. They've made them out of everything. And finding good, clean originals is tough. They think they made, estimates I've heard have been around 4,000 to 4,500 of those Eagles. And White Eagle was only in business from the early 20s till the early 30s. The guesstimate is there were 4,000 to 4,500 of those Eagles cast, which means there's just not a lot left of them, or not a lot of them left. But there's a lot of reproductions out there. And if you don't know the keys of what to look for or have an original to compare it to, it's tough to tell. The beaks are specific to the cast iron Eagles, the bases. If you're not familiar with those, and don't have either own an original or have been around a lot of originals, it's tough to tell the difference. So, Kevin made it. Glad you're here. Here's the signs we've been talking about tonight, Kevin. And on the topic of reproduction and or fake signs, because that market is obviously out of control. You can go to sold items on eBay and look at the lists of people who are being taken on them. So, Doug, what's a good starting point to find original signs? Swap meets. I do buy a little bit at swap meets. Signs are tough to buy at swap meets because there's so many people out there looking for them. One thing about signs, Peter, I've been getting signs off old collectors that are downsizing or a dealer that he trusts. And those are both great points, 100%. I've got a couple more signs I'm hoping to go look at maybe this weekend, but it's from a guy that I know, and I know the story behind the signs, and I've already seen them in person, and I've bought several signs from him before. Big job. The reproduction market is for people who will never get their hands on the real ones and just know these are the only ones they'll ever put their hands on for display, which is fine. And there is 100% a market for the guys who just want something cool and don't want to break the bank. However, there's so much of this stuff on eBay that is being marketed in a, they say vintage, they'll say, got a story, from so-and-so, and dealership sales guys, Daniel, I've got stacks of them. Depending on what type of vehicle, things like that, I've got tons of dealerships selling manuals. But that's what's making the sign market tough. There is a market for the cheaper reproduction signs, absolutely. But like I said, you look at eBay, you look at how they have these ads worded, the people who are basically almost intentionally trying to sucker people in that, they use the words vintage, got this from a guy who's had it for 20 years, You know, well, 20 years isn't that long ago. You've got to really, really read those ads when you're trying to determine whether or not something is real or not. And that's what makes it tough. And realistically, for me, part of the excitement about adding a sign to the collection is finding it, whether you get it from another collector. Brandon's here. Well, we're just discussing these signs and reproduction, so glad you made it. And, you know, or swap meets or auctions where they have specifically signs, you know, things like that. And that's right. Big Job says, yep, they misrepresent them. You've got to watch the wording very, very close on eBay when you're looking at signs. I don't think I've ever bought a sign off of eBay. Don't really have any intentions of ever buying a sign off of eBay. But part of buying signs and buying memorabilia and things like this is getting the story, dealing with the people, trying to learn about them, where they came from, things like that. That's all part of it as well. So that's what makes it fun. That's part of the enjoyment for me. And that's, you know, a big reason as to why I do it, you know, and that's what makes it fun. And in all honesty, clicking a button on the computer to buy a sign, to me, is not that exciting. Every sign in here, I can tell you the story behind it, just about every single one. I don't have any dealership sales guides out right now, Daniel, at all. So I would have to actually physically dig one out of a car or off a shelf. So I don't have anything out or ready right now. But, you know, all these signs up here, I can tell you the stories about them. I tell you what auction they came from or what antique store or what individual. And some of these, I know some of the stories behind them, you know. The Ford up there, we need to get the Ford down and look at it one of these days. Came from a guy I knew since I was a kid. Big collector, had a ton of cool stuff. And when he had to go into assisted living, they sold his sign collection off. That was a sign that I always remembered seeing in his collection, and I was fortunate enough to get it bought at the auction. So, you know, things like that, I'll always look at that sign and I'll remember Orr. You know, I remember going to his house. I remember dealing with him, bought some cars and trucks from him, and that's a lot more fun and a lot more enjoyable than clicking a button on a computer. So that Ford sign, I know where it hung in Orr's shop. I know the Lincoln that it hung above when it was in his shop, and now it's in my shop. So that's what a lot of it is for me versus clicking a button on a computer. So that's the exciting part about it. That's why, and just like the hires, you know, I remember I was obviously a lot younger when Dad found those, but I still remember when he found this big bundle of brand new metal hire signs. The mobile, you know, the buddies that went to Meekum with us that time, we were all hanging out together when I got that sign. The ISOV, my daughter and I bought that from another collector that, you know, I've bought a few signs from that, you know, once in a while changes things up in his collection. That's what makes it fun to me. That's what makes it enjoyable. And that's why I like doing it. So, Daniel, from the early 2000s, I worked inside. I saw a brand new 06 Chevy Silverado SS. Yeah, those were pretty good trucks too that I think are going to be future collectibles. But anyway, there's the signs for tonight. I'll show you a glimpse of the truck. Thanks, Handsome Metal. Appreciate that. And like I said, if you see signs online, you read the descriptions very, very, very closely. I guess that's the best thing I can warn you. Kevin says, I don't think I could trust the web for authentic signs. I don't. There are a lot of good places on there. There is a Facebook page called Porcelain Sign Trader with a bunch of legitimate guys. I'm on that page. But even then, it just isn't that exciting to click a button and buy a sign online. It takes some of it away from me compared to putting your hands on it, talking to the guy, learning about it, learning where it came from, who you're with, what happened when you bought it, things like that. So, Peter, I've got a lot of repo signs off a dealer sold as repo, super rare 20s and 30s. Yeah, and some of that stuff is still kind of neat to have because some of the original stuff is so impossible to get. Modern Designs made it tonight, so like I said, we'll keep working some of these signs in. We can keep the discussion going as we move along on the reproduction stuff and things like that because it's a very important part of the sign market. I've seen a lot of people get burned really bad. You know, I've seen guys lose $1,000, $2,000, you know, in 10 seconds at an auction because they get wrapped up in a deal, they get to bidding on something, and and get sucked in and get it bought, and then find out the next day that it's a reproduction piece. So anyway, we'll walk on over here. We'll walk past the train here real quick. Like I said, there is a full video on this if you want to check it out. Okay, Daniel, I got that. Okay, that's where I was getting confused at on that comment. But this is supposedly G gauge from what I've been told. Now, I'm not a train guy, but this is such a killer piece that I was so excited about it. But the tracks are right at 3.5. From what I've been told, that is G. However, this is a really, really big G. If we put the tape, Martin Designs wants an old vintage gas pump. I've got a ton of those too. There's a small portion of my collection of gas pumps. So, Joe, that is a cool train. Yeah, it's a beast. It takes about 3 people to move it. 2 can do it, but it's a little sketchy with 2. We put the tape out on this thing, and it is 6 feet. Right at 6 feet long. This was originally live steam. It is hand-built. Where'd I get the train? Actually, there was I bought this from the guy that I bought a ton of badges from, believe it or not. A lot of the badges we're checking out on Sunday night had this. I got this train from him out of that estate collection in Missouri. But like I said, I get into a lot of that on the train video. But real quick, you'll have to go back and watch the video to check out the whole thing. But we lift the lid off the compartment here, and this was a live steam train. If you want to pump Martin Designs, give me a shout. I've got 2 or 3 I would probably sell. No, there's no new old stock stuff in here. So, but all these gauges, or got gauges, but valves and everything, this thing actually was a functioning live steam unit. The trucks and everything, I believe, were factory built, but all of this was all handmade. So it's a beast. It's an impressive piece. Has a Frisco type badge on the front of it. Bell works. That's right, Big Job. It is a beast. Beast is an understatement for this thing. See if we can kind of get a little glimpse of it from the other side. And like I said, when I did the full video on it, I had it out where we could see it a little better. Yep, it's hand-built. That thing is a monster. You see all this detail. You see the steps, the ladders, all that stuff was all hand-built. And it's a monster. Like I said, you know, it's been probably over a year that since I did the video on this thing, because it was shortly after I got it. But I know a lot of you guys weren't on here. Brandon, my grandma's best friend's husband, used to build live miniature steam trains. So yeah, this thing, Daniel's an American built. It's hand built. I think it was hand built down around Missouri, where it came from. And like I said, on the video where I had the thing out where we could get all the way around it and really check the thing out good when I did the full video on it. So Martin Big Designs, big electric trainers would know the details about this train. Yeah, most people don't. Kevin, people have garden railroads, used to run in scale. Like I said, from what I've been told, for the 3.5-inch track, this was G, but it's a typical G, from what I've been told, is like 4 feet long. And this thing is 6. So it's a monster. But it's a beautiful piece. It really, really is. So, Bill, never seen this before, must have missed it. Like I said, I did that video. Gosh, it's probably been... When did I go get the train? Yeah, it has been probably about a year ago. I think I picked it up. I actually bought it at the end of 19. But it was like August of 20 before I got down there to pick it up. And like I said, we'd gotten to know the guy pretty well. I bought a ton of badges from him. And, you know, and we had a good relationship with him. Great guy. And after I got it bought, yeah, that's right. Big job. Give the guy an amen for craftsmanship. That is a big boy, Kevin. Daniel, where you can find all battery accessories. I mean, every company had different signs, different racks for battery accessories. Number one, oh my God, there's a Sofa King Cool. Can't stay. It's negative 40 in Canada. Holy cow. It's getting chilly here, but it ain't nothing like negative 40. So he was he was kind enough, and like I said, we had a good working relationship with him anyway. He was kind enough, said, it's in my shop. Whenever you get down this way, pick it up. Because like I said, it's a monster. I don't know how you'd ship it. And like I said, and not counting the track, just the train itself. Now, if we look at the track, Dan says he does remember the video. Okay. That's on a big, huge plank with steel rails. Now, when I say it takes 3 guys to move it, that's when you take it off of the track. That's carrying the track, the plank and the track in separately. And then the train itself, like I said, and taking the tender off. I take the tender off, just the train, what we're looking at right there. No track, no tender. 2 guys can get it, but it's not very, you don't feel real comfortable about it with just 2 guys. You get 1 person on each end and 1 person in the middle to stabilize it to safely carry just the engine. Let's see, we had a bunch of stuff popping up there. Brandon, did you get the guy you get the train from a mid-50s Oldsmobile? No, he didn't. That's right, Rusty Nails. There is an 82 Camaro Indy pace car with 28,000 miles on it sitting back over there. So, Daniel, GM accessories, not battery accessories, and Autocraft accessories. I've got a little bit of signage and racks and things from that stuff as well. So anyway, there's a quick glimpse of the train. Like I said, go back, check that video out. It was probably, I think I picked it up, it was August of 20 when we went down for the Springfield swap meet, I think is when I picked it up. So sometime September, October last year is when I would have done that full walk around on the train. Kevin, 480 is the wheel arrangement. Okay, I'll take your word for it because I don't know nothing about trains. So Thomas from Chicago's here. Glad you made it. So it would give a kid a hernia to play with that thing. That's for sure a big job because it's a monster. It is an absolute monster. I've never weighed it, but it's a beast. So, Bill, you have trading page here with Craig on this. It's such a cool piece, and I was so excited about it because we bought so many badges out of the collection. You know, never met the gentleman that owned it because when they started selling it off, he really wasn't even in his right mind anymore. But the guy that was helping the family sell the stuff, got to be great friends with him, you know, super good guy. And, you know, and there again, that's part of it. Just like the signs, just like I like to buy signs from people. Modern Designs, Google shows some trains bigger than G-scale. They call it large scale. Maybe this just falls under large, and it would definitely fit. Peter, old guy in town had one 35 years ago. He built it, was almost the size of and they ran it on a club track. Daniel, my favorite pace car is the 97 Corvette. Yeah, that is a different one. That's a different paint scheme. I'm not a big fan of it, but there's people that love it. So, yeah, 1943 right behind me, number 1. I don't think you're on it anymore. I don't think your high score's on there anymore, but we can plug her in and play a few games if you want. Anyway, that's what we've had for tonight. Couple of cool signs. Quick walk around the train. Be sure to check the video out. Like I said, when you can actually get around it. I've kind of got it sitting up next to the 58 Pontiac so I can get around and walk through here and check. See, we can check things out. Big job. It goes off the track and take your parents' wall down. It would. It would. If that thing was moving and had some momentum behind them, it would go right through sheetrock. I guarantee you that, because that thing is a monster. But it hasn't run in years. Don't know when the last time it run was, but it's a piece of craftsmanship. It literally is almost a piece of art. I mean, with the handwork, the fact that it ran, the fact that it was live steam, the detail, and we didn't look real close at the nose on this. Modern Design is supposed to see the 58 Pontiac, but you look at all the little bolts and all these little handmade pieces to make all this stuff work. Even the cattle guard. It's banged up a little bit, but I mean, who knows how old this is. Look at all of that detail. Bill, Craig's an avid collector, train collector. Let him know about this. Well, if you can find the video, Bill, you might let him watch it because it's a cool piece. It's just, but like I said, like art. It literally is like art to me. And that's what, that's why I was on top of the fact that the story and the people and all that, kind of plays into it. So anyway, that's what we've got. There's the 58. There is a video on this. I do have a video on the 58. So you can go check that one out as well. So I did, it's pretty dusty right now, but I did have this out and I have done a video on it as well. So the video on the 58 Pontiac is out there. Daniel, it's quality that everything's made in China and put together by robots. Yeah, this thing was definitely hand-built quality. There's no doubt about it. So Modern Design wants a cow catcher for his 48 Pontiac. Yeah. So yeah, there is a video on this 58. Be sure to go check it out and hear the whole story behind it. Had that car for a really, really long time. Had that car for a really long time. Joe says he does agree. It is a piece of art. Stuff's not made like that anymore. Peter loves the 58. Loch Ness Fox made it. Glad you made it. Glad you dig the train. But yeah, check out the video on the Pontiac. There is a video on that. Kevin, UP runs a big boy excursion nowadays. Yep, that's come through this area before as well. So be sure to check the video out on the train. Check out the video on the 58 Pontiac. I've actually got some of these pumps on videos as well. Those 3 pumps I know are on a video. Martin Design says Jeeper Creeper style. Yep, the 41 to 46 Chevy cab over Jeepers Creepers. Well, and kind of funny, it's not a Jeepers Creepers truck, but there's one of those back there too. 41 Chevy cab over. And there are videos on that truck as well. But yeah, when you speaking of Jeepers Creepers and that cab over style Chevy, there's one of those in here as well. There are videos on it. I bought it from the American Picker. They have some. That truck was on 3 episodes. It's in here too. So, car insurance, Daniel. A lot of that on collector cars is done through like Haggerty, American Collectors Insurance. There's a lot of them out there that insure these cars for collectors like myself. So, do all my cars run? Well, they did. A lot of these I need to get batteries in and try to get them fired back up again. That's part of my goal for this winter is to get on some of that. Martin Design just says I want it. Brandon, the arrows on the fenders kind of resemble the 57 Hudson Chrome on the fenders. Yeah. Andrew, what's my all-time favorite vehicle? I don't know how in the world you answer that because I've got different vehicles for different things that I like to do different things with. So, Martin Design wants a Jeepers Creepers truck. Daniel, did Chevy make a semi-truck? Yeah, they did make some bigger trucks. Ford did, Dodge did, they all did. Bill's going to do some research to see you Sunday. Thanks for being here. That cab over's not for sale at this point right now. I don't know what we're going to do with it, but anyway, I think we'll probably get ready. Wow, we're over 30 minutes already. We kind of got to boogieing through some stuff, got excited about the signs and the train, and kind of lost track of time, but I know I got a few things I need to get done yet tonight. I'm sure you guys do as well. I'm glad you stopped by and hung out. This is actually our last live for 2021. So, GMC 702 V12, I think that was some of their bigger stuff. I'm not that familiar with their bigger stuff, so. But, hope everybody has a happy new year. When we get back together again Sunday night. Kevin, glad I got the winch truck up and running. Yeah, it's fired up. Yeah, Daniel, we were on American Pickers. I don't remember when the episode aired, when we bought that truck. No, big job. It's not ready to go yet. Since I got it running, I've got it moved in the shop out at the yard, so it's a little easier to work on. Accelerator pump's leaking on it, so I got to put one of those on it. It's not running real smooth just because it's just been moved, putted around and moved around and never really been driven the last several times. So I'm gonna put plugs in it. I don't think I want to sell the cab over, Marn. I lost my train of thought. Oh, I'm going to put plugs in it. The module, if you're familiar with those old Fords from the 70s, that's why I was kind of surprised. That's right, Locks, it is the last one, that's for sure. The module bled out on it, but it still runs. I figured it wasn't going to start because the module had bled out, but it did fire up. But since it bled out, I'm going to go ahead and get a module for it. How tall were the soda signs, trans tunnel signs? Everything we looked at tonight was right at 5 foot. The Hires was a little bit shorter. The other ones were right at 5 foot. Big job sauce on pickers. So yeah, that was a great experience. It was fun. I know Robbie pretty well. I don't know Mike that well. Mike was executive producer that day when we did the shoot, but he was not in the shoot, but he was there calling the shots that day. Super cool day. Brad Whitford from Aerosmith was there that day. They shot some Aerosmith van stuff that day while we were there, so it was cool getting to meet him and his son. That prototype Cadillac, like a 30 Cadillac prototype they had, that car was there, and they had not aired that video yet. So we saw that, you know, before it ever happened. In fact, at the end of the day, Mike and I went over that car pretty well. Mike showed me a bunch of the cool stuff about it. So they're great guys. Like I said, I know Robbie a lot better than I know Mike. In fact, I called Robbie last week about a couple of things that I needed to talk to him about. So they're good guys, and they're all real. They really enjoy this stuff just like we do, and that's what made it fun. It was a great experience for me and my daughter, and it's a super cool truck. So, and there are some videos on that, so be sure to check it out as well. So anyway, I'm going to sign off. I'm going to get back to work. We'll have some more videos coming up tomorrow. That's right, Daniel, sign up for the RPM Act. We definitely want to do that. I need to get some plugs in the winch truck and get her tuned up, see if we can go move some cars around yet this week, and get some more video shot. Tons of stuff coming in, but I got to get some more content pumped out there for you guys because I'm getting behind. I've been hauling so much stuff in. Thanks for watching, everybody. Really appreciate you swinging by, spending some time with me tonight. Hope you enjoyed the signs, and maybe we'll have some new ones to look at next week. So, old school, not getting notifications on live. Have you clicked the? There is a separate button for notifications. You have to subscribe and click notifications to get the okay. So if you've got it on, and it must be a system issue, and that, you know, there again, I don't know what happens with that, but I know typically a lot of people don't have the notifications clicked. So, but anyway, I'm gonna get to work. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope everybody has a great New Year. And Peter has had a 76 F250 for 33 years. I love those trucks. Be sure to see the video on my 78 F250 that I've got stashed back in the corner too. So super excited about that truck as well. Anyway, have a great New Year, everybody. We'll see you Sunday night. We're going to give that stack of mini magazines away to the lucky winner. Brandon, Father Chad, the Church of Grease and Rust, the great 2021. Yep, 2021's about done, and we're going to roll into 2022 with a great group on here and everybody that's having a lot of fun hanging out. Thanks for being here, everybody. We will see you tomorrow night and Friday night on a couple of other videos. And then we'll see you Sunday in 2022. Giveaway stack of mini mags. Be sure to jump on, hang out with us. Let's talk about the auction, doing an auction. It's not a happy year. It's been better than last year, but it hasn't been a great year. But at least it was better than last year. So we can all, we can take that for what it's worth and cross our fingers that it's going to continue to get better. So, lots of cool stuff to talk about Sunday night. Giving some cool stuff away. Martin Design says we need more beer. Well, if you're bringing it, let's go. So, we'll see everybody then. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. Be sure to check out the other videos on the train and the 58 Pontiac, and we will see you Sunday night. And just right, Joe, we got more World War II aircraft stuff coming as well. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you soon on the next video.